Hi guys, this is the last video of chapter 10, coastal landscapes. So what is a wave? A wave just transfers energy. Why are some waves stronger than others? It depends on the energy obviously and how much is carrying, the speed of the wind, etc. Constructive waves. Now constructive waves, their swash is stronger than their backswash, so they deposit. For example, they make sandy beaches. Sandy beaches are wide and gently sloped. Destructive waves make their backswash is stronger than the swash, so they take away, and they form shingle and pebble beaches, which are steep and also narrow, and they're not very gentle at all. And they can also form constructive and destructive waves. They can also form spits and bars as well. So weathering is just the breakdown of rock. So we have chemical weathering. So when, for example, oxidation, which is basically rocks being broken down by water and oxygen. Mechanical weathering include freeze-thaw weathering. So at 0 degrees, water enters the cracks and it freezes and it puts pressure on the rock, so it causes it to crack, and therefore that's weathering. What's mass movement? Mass movement is just basically referring to the movement of rock down a slope. So we have sliding, which is horizontal, just sliding. Rock falls are basically rocks falling down a slope. And slumping, which is a rotational manner of rocks falling. So when you're referring to erosion in coast, you just refer to hydraulic action, abrasion and attrition, not the other one. And the same with transportation. So transportation includes longshore drift. So longshore drift is where it's traveling perpendicular. So the top arrow is referring to the right. That's the direction of longshore drift. Now the one that's slanted is the direction of swash, and the perpendicular is the one at 90 degrees is backswash. Backswash. And the direction of prevailing wind is in the same direction of swash. And that's how materials are transported. Now, spits are also formed by the longshore drift. Spits form when there's a direction in the change of prevailing wind around a sharp edge, which causes sediment to deposit. Now, when two spits come together, they form a bar and also a lagoon. Discordant is basically vertical, so vertical alternations between hard and soft rock, and concordant is the horizontal. Islands and bays are a cliff. So at a cliff this is our discordant coastline. So we have hard, soft, hard, soft, hard, soft. A hard rock is more resistance, less likely to erode, left jutting out. That's the headland. And when soft rock is less resistance, it erodes. This forms a bay, gently sloped, crescent shaped. Cliffs and wave cut platforms. So at a cliff, obviously there's hydraulic action and abrasion. This forms a wave cut notch. This is a weakness in the cliff. Further hydraulic action and abrasion due to waves, so the different concentrations of high tide and low tide means that it keeps on eroding. The top of the cliff collapses, and this forms a wave cut platform. Caves, arcs and stacks. So at a headland there's obviously weaknesses, and due to hydraulic action and abrasion, further erosion means a cave is formed. If you retreat even further, this forms an arc. This is exposed to weathering, it collapses due to gravity. This forms a stack. Now stacks are separate and they're detached, and more mechanical weathering, freeze-thaw weathering, etc. hydraulic action and abrasion means it leads to a stump, but these are very small. And a blowhole is an example of a characteristic of a cave. It's basically where high pressure of water just pushes it out. Sand dunes are basically referring to longshore drift and how sand is transported along the beach. It could provide habitats and is also supported by vegetation or wood stuff sometimes. Larger sand dunes refer to mature, and more smaller ones refer to embryonic. And we already referred to spits and bars. So some hard engineering techniques include sea wall, which reflects the wave energy. We have groins, which are wooden fences, and rock armor, which are huge boulders of rock. Gabions, which are cages, are basically filled with rock, and they're made of like wire around them, so wired field. And some soft engineering include sand dune regeneration, supporting the sand again using vegetation or wood. And we also have beach restoration, where the original nutrients from the beach are restored again and returning the beach back to its natural ecosystem. For coastal realignment, there's many confusion about this. Coastal realignment is basically allowing the land to flood, and this means this is the only option due to rising sea levels, so it's very good. But obviously, it could cause conflict between locals because they feel like the land is just being wasted and being allowed to flood. It could lead to salt marshes and land being created, but also habitats being destroyed, such as species such as badgers, referring to Medmurray, which is a case study, that were damaged as well. You can also provide fishing nurseries, nature trails and reserves, and it also provides a land for conservation. So that's all of your coasts done. I hope you enjoyed.